Hi, so the day 3 of the Edgbaston test is over and it would undoubtedly go down in the history of test cricket as one of the most exhilarating day of test cricket. It had everything that you only wish but hardly get to watch, and perhaps this kind of day comes once in a quarter of a century. You don't get this kind of a test match, this type of a development in a test on a day, and it would have enthralled, it would have created exasperation depending on which side of the team or which side of the fan base you are. The match was all about England, it seems, though India was the dominant side and India firmly put the game in their grasp by the end of the day. But it was all about England, that's the way it looked. In the morning, they were reduced to 84 for 5, and in the afternoon, they lost 5 for 20. So between 5 for 84 in the beginning and 5 for 20 in the end, they showed what basketball cricket is all about, what exhilarating test cricket and batting is all about. When they added 303 runs, and what a batting performance that Jamie Smith and Harry Brook showed. Harry Brook is world's number 2 batter and he showed how destructive he can be. But what actually mesmerized the fans, especially the neutral fans, and more if you are an England fan, was the kind of batting displayed by Jamie Smith. For 151 overs, he was behind the stumps, stretching up and down 900 times while gathering the balls. He had nothing, he would have nothing left in him. And then he had to come to bat very soon when England were reduced to 84 for 5. He hardly had any rest. And from then on, he went into a counter-attack mode and showed why he is going to be one of the most exciting all-format test player, one-day player and T20 players going for England and also for the world and for the fans to enjoy. He attacked every bowler to all parts of the ground. He didn't play like Dockett and Crawley in the first test where he was selective. He just went after every bowler, and the more you tried to lure him out to get out, the more he was attacking you. And from a position of hopelessness at 84 for 5, he and Brook took the total to 387 for 5. At that moment it looked they could very easily match India's total. But then India had the trump card with it, that's the new ball. And now it has been established more or less that this test at Edgbaston, the pitch it has is a new ball pitch, and anything and everything what you can expect to get is when the new ball is taken, and maybe after 15 to 20 overs the match and the game becomes completely tilted toward the batters and the bowlers lose all their tooth and their potency. And the same thing happened when the second new ball India got. India had preserved, I think Subman Gill credit should be given to him, he had preserved Siraj and Akashdeep for most part of the day, even though there was a lot of chatter that India was playing only with 2 bowlers because the rest of the bowling was looking so important. And yet when the counter attack was going on and England was batting merrily and they were scaring India and showing that they could really run away with the match, and maybe India would be out of the game in spite of reducing them to 84 for 5, yet he didn't blink, he didn't bring in Siraj earlier, he kept him fresh because Siraj had bowled too much also in the first test, and he also kept Akashdeep comparatively fresh. And when the new ball was due, immediately he brought them, and what bowling performance they showed. And Siraj on a flat pitch but with a little help from the new ball took 6 wickets, one of a fantastic performance on a lifeless pitch, and ably supported by Akashdeep because they were our only 2 bowlers, with Prasidh Krishna so out of shots and Washington Sundar and Nitish Kumar Reddy hardly coming to the party, and Jadeja once again looking not effective as a frontline spinner. India had only 2 bowlers and both of them delivered with a new ball, and they shared the 10 wickets, Siraj taking 6 and Akashdeep taking 4, and reduced England. And for a change, England had a massive tail-ender and lower middle order and tail-ender collapse to get all out for 407, losing last 5 wickets for 20 runs. And naturally with a lead of 180 runs, India's tails were up, and then when they came to bat with Yashasvi Jaiswal in the rank, they went all after without trying to preserve wickets or become conservative, trying to keep their wicket intact for the fourth day. They went from the first ball against the in the English bowlers with all their aggression and ended up with 64 in 13 overs, which is a very healthy run rate of around 5. Though India lost Jaiswal, but India is in a firm position, in a commanding position going to the fourth day. And now it's a matter of only trying to take that call that how many runs should be enough for India to leave it to England to chase and yet would be in a winning position without giving any chance for England to win back this test. And I think India would like to make them bat for last 1 hour, and by that time India should ideally have a lead of around 475 to 500, because that would mean that it would be a formidable total and India would have a bite at the new ball cherry twice, because effectively they would get to bowl around 100 overs in the remaining part of in the fourth innings. That means they will get to bowl around 20 overs with the first new ball, and if the situation warrants and England scares or England threatens to run away with the match with a good partnership, they can always come back at the 80th over and get another 20 overs towards the end of the day tomorrow and try to seal the victory. And also it will give them some cushion for any kind of weather disturbance or interference that may affect the match. So they should have enough time to wrap up the England second innings. So yes, it's interestingly poised, but the match is thoroughly and completely in India's command. And now from now on, there should be only two results possible: Indian win or an unlikely but possible, not impossible draw. But English win right now looks almost next to impossible. But you never know. Test cricket can be a game of glorious uncertainty. And if India does mess up a little bit like they did it the first test, and England comes out all guns blazing, even that one is also can't be ruled out, that option or that likely outcome. But realistically, we can hope that now this is the test India should wrap it up even without Bumrah, and really then go into Lord's test with Bumrah fit, and now with possibly and hopefully a settled bowling lineup, rather than going with just two bowlers with the wind this time. Because let's not forget, yes, Washington Sundar delivered with the bat and Jadeja's batting was handy, but the so-called all-rounders that India took in favor of preferring over genuine wicket takers like Arshdeep Singh or Kuldeep, they bowled around 20 overs and they gave 103 runs without taking a wicket. That is Nitish Kumar Reddy and Washington Sundar. You cannot go to a test match against England with a baseball kind of approach on flat pitches with just two bowlers. This time it was Siraj and Akashdeep. Hopefully in the next test there will be at least three genuine wicket-taking bowlers with Bumrah coming back. So Bumrah, Akashdeep and Siraj would be there. And then India could look at Kuldeep Yadav instead of maybe Washington Sundar if they would really want to put pressure. But that would be for the next test. That is still a long way to go. Right now let us stay in this test and let's hope India seals and India wraps up this test and makes it 1-1. Thank you.